Hello everybody, this is Bonita, design team member for J&S Hobbies and Crafts, and we are ready to embark on another part of our project. So we are going to make our micro minis now, and remember that we need 2 micro minis. So I'm going to show you what one looks like, and then we're going to go ahead and make the other one. So again, remember this is a Circus paper from Cartabella. So here is one of the cars, you guys. Oh my gosh, is that not cool? They stand up just like that, and I know this is kind of the wrong view. That's why I'm showing you like this. So there's 2 carts like this, and they each are going to hold your micro mini. So here's our micro mini. This one's already created. And again, you've already created the cover for this, and so we're just going to walk you through it. Isn't that fun? So we're going to open it up and, whoops. And yes, look at that. I know this is small, but this is my signature waterfall. There it is. And then when you open it up, there's that signature waterfall as well. I did not put a pocket on here because it's pretty small. So again, this micro mini is small, but it's a lot of fun. There's places to put photos, again, both in the designated photo mats for you and then also on decorative paper. So here's page 1, and we have a flip right here. And there's our space there, and there. Each of these have a pocket, and they all have a double-sided photo mat. So right there, you can hold 12 photos. Open this up, again, just a basic page. This page has a pocket, again with that on there. Plain page. This is a belly band, and we're going to make a little booklet to go in there when we finish our decorating, and I forgot to do that. So I will have that information on the screen for you when you're building your album. Here is another photo mat, so that's what all those are on there. So here's another page with a flip. Here's a just a plain page, diagonal pocket, another flip, plain page, and then a pocket here, and a plain page. Okay, so that's really all there is to it. And again, that fits right in your car, and we're going to have 2 cars, so you'll have 2 micro albums to fit it in. I also want to share with you that the punch that I used is this. I believe that you can also get this at J&S Hobbies and Crafts. Any 1/2-inch deep punch will work. If you do anything deeper than that, then you'll have to change the measurements just a little bit. But this is the punch that I happen to use. Okay, so let's get started. So for your pages, you are going to cut six of these pieces of paper, and they are 8.5 by, sorry, I don't have my stuff right here in front of me. They are 8.5, excuse me, let me get my paper open, by 3 1/4. So it gives us an 8.5 by 3 1/4. You're going to score at 4 and at 8 on each of them. So you need 6 of these, and these are going to make our pages. So once you get that, you're just going to score on your, or fold on your score lines. Give it a good burnish. Good burnish. That burnishing is always really important. That's going to be folded to the inside. And we're just going to put glue on here. I should have my little piece of clear acetate that I use for this, and I think I have it right up here. In there, and then just give that a good burnish. That is how we're going to make all of our pages. Again, each album holds 6 of these, so you'll need to make a total of 12. Okay. So let's go ahead and start with our page 1, and I'm just going to make sure I'm following my own instructions. So page 1, we are going to have a top flap, and that flap is cut at 2 3/4 wide by 4 inches, and you're going to score at 3.5 inches. Again, we're always going to trim off a little bit of our corners right here, just a little bit. Kind of helps it stay. Gosh, I kind of have a messy space right here. And I'm just going to glue this flap down, and this is going to center it in the top. And I would put your, where you adhere them together at the bottom. It doesn't really matter, but that's just probably what I would do to make them all consistent. So this is, again, just going to go in the middle. Oh, I got glue all over. It's okay because we're going to cover it. And this goes, dries clear. Okay. Page 1. We have a photo mat that goes inside here. So that is just a glue. And remember, we scribble that glue. And as we scribble that glue, we put it down, kind of put it in place. And then I always use my bone folder to squish that glue out. Remember, that kind of like goes like that. Okay. So then I have my piece that goes over on page 1, and it's 3 by 3 1/4. Whoops, Scott, sorry. Oh my gosh, I kicked my camera. That was not cool. And we're just going to glue this down. Remember, the art glitter glue, you guys, is a bomb. Now you're going to have quite a bit of paper left over from this. I have not decorated my stuff yet, so we are going to be using some of it for some cool decorations. So, but you will have some left. And remember, as each of these that I had you cut out, you know, if you want the other side, like this one probably wouldn't be the best, but you sure could use the other side in quite a few of them. So this is, it goes on top of our flap, and it's 2 1/2 by 3 1/4. Let me try not to hit my camera again. It's just going to go right down there on top. This is a pretty quick album when you have everything already pre-cut and pre-ready to go. Okay. Page 2, again, is just that. It is just a 3 by 3 3/4. You've cut several 3 by 3 3/4 pieces. Again, you could sure use the other side of that if you so chose. And you know, I think I actually might do that. I think I will. I think I will. So let me just edge a little bit. So that's what I want you to understand, is that a lot of these, when you're using double-sided paper, you can choose sometimes. Not always, because sometimes on the other side it doesn't really look right. And even though this is not cut right down the middle, it's still going to be super cute. So that is just one of my little tricks. When you got that double-sided paper, it's quite all right to use what you want to use. Okay. So that is page 1 and 2. So we're just going to set that off to the side. And I'm now going to go on to page 3 and 4. Whoops, so that says 11 and 12. We do not want that. Here's page 3 and 4. So page 3 and 4, so 3 is what we're going to do first, and we have our pocket. And this pocket is cut at 1 3/4 by 5 inches, and we of course scored the normal 1/2 inch and trimmed our corners off. Okay, you can see that. And we're going to put this pocket, and then I deco punched it. And again, you don't have to even deco punch it if you don't want to. I just do this with a 1/2 inch punch. I'm going to go ahead and put my pocket down just exactly like we put our pockets down every other one. This one goes on the side, and it goes on the right side. So I'm just going to turn my paper here just a tad bit so it's easier for me to adhere. And I always put that long side down first, give it a good burnish, open it up, give it a good burnish. Now, when this one, when you want to be careful because of these polka dots, but I'm going to use my clear acetate when I close this to make sure that I don't get it sticking to itself. I'm just going to burnish that down good, move it to the other side, and burnish that down good. When you put that acetate in there, the glue then doesn't put the paper together. Okay, now I do not have a piece cut for this right here on the pocket. I know it's hard to see. I don't have a piece yet cut for that. I don't. Oh, I do. I just have to trim it. You have lots of scrap pieces that you'll be able to use for that. Okay, so what goes behind the pocket is 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. I'm just going to scribble that glue on there. Put that, oops, I'm going to go this way only because it has more of the inking on it. So this paper on the outsides of it already had a lot of antiquing. And so I, of course, continue to antique it with my Tim Holtz Vintage Photo ink, which you should also be able to get at J&S Hobbies and Crafts. That is my #1 go-to ink. I think it 100% adds to all your stuff. Okay, so here is my piece that's going to go right here. And so what we need to trim this down to is 5 1/8 inches. Let's just put that on here. Now, when you're doing these small cuts in this Micro Mini, it's great to have one of these cutters, this Fiskars cutters, and it has that wire inside there. And I highly recommend that you get one of these because you will need, it will help you a lot in when you're making these little ones. Okay, so let's hope that fits. And it fits perfectly. Look at that. Let's see if I can just move in here just a tad bit, you guys. Let's see if that will help. And are we still in focus? Let's see if we can get, whoops, that was not a good focus. Okay. So yeah, you'll have these little pieces. There is scraps, plenty of scraps to use, so you can wait until the end, or I just happened to pick that one up. It was the other side of this piece, or I mean a piece of that when I cut it. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it over, and here is my paper for page 4, and again it's 3 by 3 3/4. Again, that's our really common size that we're using in this. And you know, here's this ticket paper. You could also use the ticket paper. It's strictly up to you when you're creating this, and then so you know you can choose whatever way you want, and it kind of makes it your own. And you know, if you're using other paper, that's fine too. You'll just need the sizes. Okay, that's 3 and 4. Okay, so let me get to 5 and 6. And 5 has a belly band in the middle of it, and you can choose to use a normal strip of paper, which is about, this is 5/8 inches wide. Or if you want to be brave, you can use your punch. And I used the punch in my first one, but I'm going to use a solid paper because that punch is just a little weak. So I'm going to go ahead and just use regular paper on this one. And I don't even, I'm going to cover it, I'll cover it with paper. At the end, you'll see that when we go through how I've decorated it. And we are going to leave the tabs whole. Don't trim them at all. And that just goes, you're just going to glue in the ends. And again, here's my acetate. And throw that in there. Well, maybe. Or you just pop it right back off. That's whatever works. Burnish it down. And I truly believe that burnishing it down really helps that glue adhere to everything. Okay, so here is my paper for behind this. And again, I have this piece, or I have this side. And this is the side I'm going to use, and it's just going to slip down right inside there. And this is a little bit tricky to get in there when you have glue on there, but it's just going to go right down in there. Okay. So I'm going to scribble my glue. Gosh, you guys, I have had a very bad sinus infection for the last week, and I think I'm just finally feeling better. Okay. All right. Moving right along to page 6. So page 6 has a flap that goes on the left. Okay, and so on this, we're going to, again, we're just going to trim our little tabs of our corners off here. Sorry about that. I want to stay in focus. Glue this on here. And we're just going to do that in the middle. Make sure it's down there good. Press it down. Okay, that's cool. And then here's our piece of paper. What size do you think it is? That's right, 3 by 3 3/4. Super. These micro minis are a lot of fun. One year for Christmas, I gave all my staff members one that had Christmas paper in it. And so, you know, that was really a lot of fun, and they're great gifts to, you know, just to use for one special occasion. And so, what a great Christmas gift! So you can make, you know, make these over and over again. And This is what I'm going to use on the top of my flap, which is 2.5 by 3.25. And I realize that I do not have my photo mat that goes inside here, and so I'll have to cut that one later. But it is also the same size, so that was 2.5 by 3.25. This is such, oh my gosh, this paper is so amazing. The train was perfect for it. This is just perfect. So in here goes the photo mat, and I don't know where my, oh wait a minute, look at that, there it is, right there. It is not inked though, however. Now you don't have to ink your edges, that is 100% up to you, and even if you do ink them, you don't have to do it with that vintage photo. I just like it because it makes it look antique-y. All my albums that I give away that I do that to, I've had nothing but praises. I mean, the people just absolutely are floored and can't figure out, how did you do that? Did you, antique your paper? And you're like, yeah, it was really hard. Kind of like, I call it maybe my Rice Krispie treats. I'm old, and there was a commercial on TV a long, long time ago where a lady had made Rice Krispie treats, and to make her family feel like she worked really hard, she like put flour all over her, and she came out holding this batch of Rice Krispie treats and like, oh, I just worked so hard. So that's kind of how I feel about your antiquing. It does take time, but it is very easy. Okay, so there's our other two pages. We are moving right along to page 7 and 8. See how fast this is going? Okay, 7 is just a plain piece of paper, and it is 3 by 3 3/4, I think. Yes. Yes. And a few of my papers may be just a tad bit smaller by 1/8 of an inch because of how I had to cut some things, which is totally 100% fine. So don't freak out when that happens on these, because I wanted to use, I always use my paper to capacity. That's how that goes. Okay, so now we're going to turn over on page 8, and page 8 is just our corner pocket. Now this corner pocket I've put to the inside. You can either put it on either side that you want. Now what I did on this one is I didn't punch the edge on this one, by the way. I left it straight, and I've trimmed the corner here, and this also had my stuff peeking out, and I just cut straight across, so you can see that it's just straight across. Okay, and we're just going to glue that down, and so I'm going to glue one side down in the corner, all the way to the corner. Burnish that. Again, this pocket is going to the right. And I'm going to put this one down. And I am going to use my clear acetate that has seen better days, but I've used this for a couple years and it'll last forever. I've washed it a couple times. Burnish that down good. Okay. And then I have my paper, 3 3/4, and I'm using this side. But again, you have that side, whatever you want to choose. And I almost glued the wrong one. So that's the cool thing. In this album, you actually have quite a few choices, and that paper just slides right down in there. So we'll have a few little photo mats that you're going to put in here, but you will be able to take your 4x6 photos, and it will not fit 4x6 photos, but you can cut them up and put them in here, and that's going to be really, really fun to do that. Just a second here. I'm just going to get this back in focus a little bit. Sorry about that, folks. Okay, and then this paper, again, this was a 2.5-inch square that we just cut in half, and on the diagonal, and that gives us this really fun piece. You could, if you wanted to, you could make one of our plain pages and make it into another corner piece and use the other side of that if you wanted. You sure can do that. So any of our blank, our typical straight decorative paper pages, you could sure do that on. Okay, there we go. We are just moving right along. Okay, so now we are on 9 and 10. So 9 has the flap to the right. let's just trim off our corners here. And you know, trimming off those corners is not necessary always, but it does kind of help get it in the right place. Okay, I'm going to turn my paper just a quarter turn. This is the opening right here. This is going on the right. It's just easier for me to do it at this angle than it is the other way. Okay, so I've just centered that down. Give it a good burnish. Okay. My paper for this, isn't that cute? Little flags. Again, 3 by 3 3/4. You know, the longest time it takes me once I get an album decided and it made my mind, what actually takes me quite a while, you guys, is I cut up all these pieces of paper for you guys that are new to me. I cut all these pieces of paper up and I put these little sticky notes on them, and I know they're hard for you to read. They're not actually meant for you to read. They're for me to read. And I cut all the paper out, and then I come and put, because they're coated in a way that I can come and put those all together, and then I remake that piece of paper and snapshot it for you to help you use the paper to the same way I did. Okay, so this top is 2.5 by 3 1/4. And again, I'm using the blue side with a train. And of course, as always, you have this, that side is fun too. And that's just going to go on there. This is so fun, you guys. My gosh, this was really fun to design. I love, love, love the train. Can you imagine that train in Halloween paper? Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to get another one because I need it for Halloween. I can't even wait to do that. So maybe I'll convince Shelly to come September, let me make one for Halloween. Okay, so this is our photo mat. And that just goes right down there. Now, you know, you have extra paper. I would wait until you're all done, but you could put decorative paper on here. But I always like to give people the choice. Give them some places to put their photos so they know where to put them. Okay, so we're going to flip over on page 10. And here we go on page 10, our standard 3 by 3 3/4. I'm just going to get that glue on there. And burnish that down. You just want to get all that glue to it here. Okay, and then we are unbelievable on our last page. Page 11 and page 12. So page 11, once again, is a pocket. And this pocket, I guess I chose not to put the measurements on there. So this is 4 1/4 by 1 1/2. We score our 3 sides. You can deco punch it if you like. You don't have to. Cut your corners, and then this pocket's ready to go on, and it goes on the bottom. So let's just glue that baby down. I can't believe it's almost the end of January. Time is just flying by. And again on this, I'm just going to dot around where I have those polka dotted things. I'm going to put my, maybe, oh my gosh, my sister-in-law thought I was great when I could do it by one-handed. I can't always do it one-handed. Okay, so I'm going to close that down, and I just kind of hold it a little bit. I don't press a whole hard until I get this down there, and then, ooh. Be sure to always follow my measurements on the screen, not always what I talk, because sometimes I say it wrong, and I try my best not to make mistakes. I am 100% not perfect, but I try to get the information on the screen. Okay, so now this piece of paper is 3 by 3 1/4, and isn't that cute? And then also it's on this side, so you can choose either one of them, and this is going to go down inside that pocket. And I'm just going to glue. I know I mentioned this before, but you guys, this glitter glue, if you're not using it, you need to get it. You need to call Shelly, J&S Hobbies and Crafts, or go online, and you need to get it. It is an absolute must in the album making world. It has been a game changer for me. It saves me on score tape. I still use almost a full roll of 1/4" tape in my albums. And the, you know, I don't know, about half a roll on the 3/8 inch. But before, I would use 1 to 2 rolls of 1/4" tape, and I really prefer the glue. Okay. Then page 12 is just a piece of paper, and I have used this, the blue side, the terrain. And I'm going to glue that down. And unbelievable, we have got our pages made for our album. Crazy! Okay, we are going to go ahead and put our album together. Let me just put my pin in here. Let me get it go all the way down in there so it doesn't get plugged up. Okay, so now I have a couple things that we need to do. We need to make our waterfall. Now, I can't wait till my mom watches this because she gave me this awesome tip today on what to do with our little strips that we're using for our waterfalls. Now, this one I'm just using a Post-it note. This is the sticky side, and I've stuck them down here because it's a very small waterfall. If you were doing a big waterfall, she takes her tape runner on a piece of paper and runs the tape runner down and just barely sticks like maybe a ½ inch down on it, so you'll be able to very easily take them off to keep them in the right order. I thought that was ingenious of her, and I thank you, Mama, for that, because now it helps me when I'm making my tutorials that I can get those prepped for you and show you that. So I'm going to set those off to the side, and we're going to create our waterfall. Now, this waterfall is no different than the big waterfalls that I make, except for the pages are small, the pieces are smaller. So the first thing that we're going to do is we start with our base, and our base that we have here is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Now, this is not going to stay 4 1/2, but let's just leave it at 4 1/2 to start with. Your paper is cut, your flaps, you only need 3, is you're going to take it 3 these are 3 1/4 by 3 3/8. And the reason that is because we do not want a ½ inch here. We just don't have enough room for the ½ inch gusset. So again, this is 3 3/8, and we're going to score at 3 inches, which leaves us a 3/8 inch gusset. So the very first one that I'm going to put down, and I am going to trim just a hair off my sides here, and we're going to build it really basically just like we've done the big one. If you've not made one of my ones yet, you know, again, I have my YouTube Bonita's Basic that walks you through that. So again, I'm just going to go up here and I'm going to add that first one right up to the top, just like we normally do. And I guess if I could get that on straight, I could burnish that down, burnish it down. Take your second one, and again, we're just going to trim off that, glue it down, and we're going to go right up next to that one, right up next to that 3/8, because normally it's a ½ inch, but we're just doing that 3/8. Okay, and then open it up, make sure it's straight. Look at that. I know it's really hard to see, but it's straight. And then we're going to take our third and final flap, and we are going to glue that baby down. And again, I'm going right up to that, just like my Bonita's Basic. So I just wanted to show you this one only because it's the same, but it's just really small pieces. Okay. Okay, so let me put my lid on my glue for a moment. Now remember that our album is actually only 4 1/4 inches. So this cannot be more than 4 1/4. So really, once I get this far, and I have that last piece right here, I'm going to put that in my cutter, and I'm going to measure from that last one down here by 3/8 of an inch. And that's the beauty of the Fiskars with that wire on there. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that wire. It's so hard. It's right in there. It's super hard to see. But I'm going to cut this at 3/8 of an inch. And that is not quite a ½ an inch. Put that down there and I'm going to cut it. And the reason I make your base a little bit longer is because then you can make that perfect, even though you may get these off and a little different. So I know it's hard to see. There we go. So we've got 3 flaps. Okay, so before we go any farther, we're going to put score tape on the back of this. So I am running out of 1/4 inch tape, so I'm going to use 3/8 inch tape, but you can use 1/4 inch as well. And we're just going to put our score tape down all the way around the outsides of this. Keep in mind again, folks, you're going to make 2 of these. You want 1 for each car. Super incredible. Okay, and gosh, the other day, I live in Montana, and we got like, I don't know, 10 inches of snow. It's pretty crappy. Yeah, it's beautiful though in Montana. Okay, so there we have our waterfall done. Now we are going to do our decorative paper. So I have already cut my strips, and these are only 1/4 inch, which again, when you have that Fisker cutter, it's easier to do on that. It would be hard, it would be hard to do it on a big cutter. Now I want to make sure, so the piece that goes on the very first page is 3 by 2 3/4. So I want to make sure that I have this in the right direction, because there's my piece that's going to go with it. Okay, and it is not inked, I don't think, because it sure doesn't look like it. Okay, so I am going to ink that up and just put that down. Whoops, oh my gosh, I moved that and that just scooted right off the paper. Okay, burnish it down as always. And then my handy dandy holder that my mom suggested, which I could just hug her. She's miles away in Florida, but needless to say, folks, I'll be going down there at the beginning of March to go visit her. So this is going to go right on my next piece, right below it. And again, this is just a really small piece, you guys. So just make sure you get your glue on there. Put that right down. I think this is incredible that you're going to get that same illusion as I do on my big ones. Okay. Let me get my next one in line. I do not have a pocket in this one like I do my big ones, because again, it just isn't worth it to do that. And look at that. And then I have one more for the front. Look at that, you guys. Oh my gosh. Is that? Look at that. That is incredible. That is so cool. And remember, just like the big one, when you need to open these pages one at a time, because that catches a little bit. But it's opening them one page at a time is well worth the effect. Okay, so now we are going to do the same thing on our inside, and I'm going to start from the bottom flap, and I'm going to put my paper in here. So that means I'm going to take this from this piece, this end right here. Put glue on it, and it's going to go right up here to the top. Just center that on there. Whoops. And this one I don't really burnish, because it's sometimes will move, so I just kind of press it really good with my finger. Okay, then we're going to take the next strip. Whoops, gosh, that was great. I just got glue everywhere. And I'm going to put that down. You know, I do design for J&S Hobbies and Crafts. I do make my own albums, but right now I'm dedicated to J&S Hobbies and Crafts. You guys, they are an incredible, they're incredible people that own that store. They have great products. You know, I really encourage you to check them out. They have a website, www.jnshobbiesandcrafts.com. It's also on my information below, and my comments. You'll always see that. So they're a lot of fun, Okay, so again, I want to thank my mom for that tip. You know, when I go see her, maybe I'll have to buy her coffee. We have a favorite place, Joe's Mugs. It is in Books A Million, and they have really good frappes. Okay, look at that. See? Isn't that awesome? Coolio. Okay, so now we have our album, our cover, which we've already made. It's all ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and decorate it. So I have all my stuff here. I have such a mess going on here. Okay, so this is our cover, and I had you had a long strip of the train. This was a long strip, and I just cut it into my 3 pieces. So this piece right here is 3 3/4 by 4. This is 2 1/4 by 4. Now on my first micro, I actually turned over this piece. On this one, I am just going to leave it all together. So I've already score taped all the way around, and again, I ran out of 1/4 inch, so this is 3/8, so you can use 1/4 inch, go all the way around. And let me get my pokey tool and see if I can like hurt myself. A few tutorials back, you guys, I was being tricky, I guess, I don't know, and I stabbed myself with this little poker, and it hurt, let me tell you. Okay, so those of you who are new, super important. When you're working with score tape, it is extremely sticky. Whoops! So if you put a little bit of glue on it, if you haven't learned that yet, and then I scribble in the open places, that glue gives you that moment to maneuver your piece. Because if I would have stick that down just like that, without that glue, you would be done, and that's where it would be sticking. Okay, so once you get it in place, just press it all down. Give it a good burnish. Okay, we'll do this one next. Again, when I do my final show of my album, I will show you how I decorated. We'll talk about how we decorated because we've got lots of chipboard pieces to use. We got frames and tags that we'll be using. We have I can never say that, Ephraim or whatever, I don't know. I wish somebody would tell me how to pronounce it. We have lots of things to use to decorate, and you'll see that at the end. Okay, and then again, I'm just going to stick this down and do my best to get it in the right even. And so this is a little piece that you'll have, this is what I had left from cutting up my cover, so we're just going to set that aside because you never know what you're going to use that for. Take off my strips here. They're all over the place. They are all over. And again, we're going to put glue on that score tape. That really makes a difference, you guys. And we're just going to line that up. Put that down there. Okay. Then I have my inside piece for the back. Now make sure you have your album go in the right direction. I don't know if anybody's done that. Put them up upside down. I have. So this is going to go in the back cover, and this is 3 3/4 by 4. And on this one, I also use score tape because I wanted this one to make sure that this on, when I put on the covers, I always use score tape, not just glue. I have to be careful because I have a big fat chocolate lab named Checkers. He must be upstairs in bed. He takes up more bed than my husband and I both do. But those white strips from that paper is not good for him. That can make him very ill. Okay, so this is just, again, I glued it so I have the opportunity to move it around. And I'm going to pop that right down there. Burnish it. I hope you enjoyed my basic videos. If there's something that you'd like me to see, make a basic video on, give me a holler in the comments, and I'll take a peek at that. Okay, so our waterfall is again just going to go here on the front. And we're going to center that on there. On my first Micro Mini, I put 1/4 inch decorative paper on either side of the Waterfall, and I'll show you in just a minute. Again, put your glue on your tape on this one. 3/8 inch tape, because it's wider, needs a tad bit more glue than the 1/4 inch. So this is just going to get centered in there. And you can, if you want, you could put a strip of paper on either side. And this one I don't think I'm going to. I'm just going to give this good burnish that's down there. Okay. Isn't that great, you guys? Woohoo! Okay, let's talk about our binding strips. Now, this is a really small album. Don't fret. You don't have to be perfect, and this is not something that I want you to get nervous and upset about. Okay, so again, cut off just really little, not much on this, like really, really, really tiny on all these. And just, I don't know, just a whisper. How about that? Just a whisper of an amount. You like on my black paper, it looks like it's polka dotty over here. Okay. I might have to take a drink of my juice here. It's not real soda, but it's from a soda stream. Compliments of my mama. I actually took it from her and never gave it back. Okay, so on this one, again, I'm just going to kind of lay out where the center of my spine is. And so the spine was 2.5 inches. So we're going to go 1 1/4, and I'm just going to kind of make a mark on there. I know you probably can't see those marks. Maybe you can right there. There you go. I think you can see those. So what I'm going to do is we only have, these are 1/4 inch smaller than this. So we're only going to have about 1/8 of an inch on each side. So again, I'm just going to lay this down about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom and 1/8 of an inch from the top. I'm just going to lay, I'm trying to get that so you can see. So it's going to be just in the middle, 1/8 of an inch from the bottom and 1/8 of an inch from the top, which normally we have a 1/4 inch on each one. So again, I'm going to take the sticky tape off without trying to stab myself. And I use 1/4 inch tape on this because 3/8 is just a hair too big and you do not want it too big. Okay, so I'm going to glue, and this, remember, this is important that you put your glue on there. Okay, because it's going to give you time to adjust it. And I'm just going to do my best to get it about 1/8 of an inch and in the center. Okay. Just, you can put your ruler up there to kind of help. Did I get it, you know, semi-straight? Burnish it down good. Okay. Now the other ones are just going to go on either side of it, and when we do it on either side, I just want you to put it in the middle of the space that's left. Okay. And remember, these are really, really small We don't have extra, you know, double thick paper. When you have this Micro Mini album, there's not a lot of weight on it, so there's really no need to do all of that. Okay, so I'm just going to, again, do my best to just kind of lay that down there. Okay, and one more. We're almost there. Oh my gosh. Again, these are such fun gifts to make. If you're looking, what if you're looking for something, and I know Christmas just happened, but now is the time to start. What about making these and then getting ready to sell them at a craft fair? You know, yeah, that's a great, they're great. People are in love with them. Okay. Whoops, gosh, though, that was not the smartest thing I've done. Be careful. Okay. Now, I have all all of them in there. Okay, so here we go. We're going to put our pages in. Yes, we are going to put our pages in. And then that will wrap up this tutorial. Okay, so hopefully you kept them in order. If you didn't, it's no big deal. So what you're going to do to put these together is you're going to open that up. Okay, make sure you have your page right set up. So you're just going to put glue on both sides of your the U. I mean that one. We're gonna do one at a time. Open this up and come sit down all the way, and this is going to go all the way to the spine. And normally we don't do that, but this is going to go all the way to the spine. And then you're just going to smush it together with your fingers, and that is going to give it a good sticking in there. Okay. Again, we're on the next page. We're going to glue on this side of the U. Be careful when you go to do the second side of the U that you don't stick it down and glue the two binding strips together. And this pocket, I think, goes to the outside. Yep. So the pocket, you're going to open up this side, and this is going to come right down there. And it's going to go all the way to the spine, all the way to the spine. So push all the way down. And I am just finger pressing that. Do I have any quilters out there? Finger pressing. Just finger pressing that down. Moving right along to my belly band. Again, I'm going to glue and glue. And this works on the mini album because there's not a lot of weight to it. So again, my flap is up here, and I'm going to adhere where the flap is not attached. So I'm just going to open that up, pop that down there, all the way to, I'm pressing it all the way to the spine, all the way. Squeeze it, finger press it, and move on. Isn't that not incredible, you guys? I just, this is an easy one. Whoops, don't want to get the glue down in the actual spine of it. Okay, this one, the corner is pocket is going to go against the spine. So I'm going to open that up, put that down all the way to the spine, and just pinch it to adhere that glue. 2 more pages is all we have left. Okay, and this one, the flap is going to go to the top. So what we're going to adhere is right down here. Then you first need to put my glue on there. I guess that would help. I love the U system. I tell you, I use it for all my albums. Remember, if you have an odd number page, you can use a T. But I really try to do even numbers. I just, that's when I don't know. Occasionally I do odd. Okay. Okay. And I'll have to remember to come back and put paper on that, and you'll see that in my final, but you guys can do that on your own. Use any of your little baby scraps. I could maybe use that one. You know, I might do that one. Looks like it's going to be about, oh my gosh. I didn't glue this one, you guys. Oh my gosh. That's kind of funny. I thought I had those all pre-ready to go. Okay. My glue is fast drying on my spine, so I need to get going all the way down. I'm just going to push that down. And I have this little strip right here. You know, I'm going to go ahead and use this. And this is because I have it right here. And this was, let me see, I'm going to cut this little strip at 3 inches. I use a big, the big Fister cutter that has a roller on it because it's self-sharpening, but I like to have this little Fisker one around for these little pieces. Okay, well, look at that. Well, this was a leftover from, I think, my other one, so it just actually kind of fits in there. Okay. Unbelievable, you guys. Unbelievable. Here's your mini album. Now we have one other thing that I need you to do, and that is you need to go and create all of these little mats sets that are going to go, and you don't want to put them in right now because you want to make sure your glue gets dry, but they're going to go inside there just like that, and they will stick out a little bit, which is what you want, but when you close your album they don't go past the album. I did that on purpose. So for these you will need 6 of the black cardstocks at 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. Again, it's 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. And then for each one of them, you need your photo mats, which are going to be 3 by 3 1/2. And so you need 12 of those photo mats, because right there, you'll be able to put 12 photos in this little album. Isn't that great? Okay, so there we go. We have one of your micro minis built. So you'll need to go back and build your second micro mini, because the second one goes in this cart right here. Isn't that great, you guys? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So we have this cart, and I have to lay these down so that you can see them. And I'm not going to show you the engine yet because, I mean, I've showed it to you already when you're building it, but look at that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You got to have it. Got to have it. Okay. Alrighty. So there we go. That is your micro mini. Hope you enjoy that and get your second one made, and then join me back for our big one. Thank you very much.